Welcome to the Mississippi Law Enforcement Officer Training Academy, the most respected training academy in the country. This academy didn't earn that title because of its appearance, but because of what it produces. We produce the most well-trained law enforcement officers in the country. That proof is in the accomplishments achieved by members of this staff and the group of TAC officers to your left. The Mississippi Highway Patrol owns 52 national championships in firearms and physical fitness. My reasoning for making that statement: the director of the Mississippi Highway Patrol has assembled a training team that will assume the most important job on the Mississippi Highway Patrol. That job is to take cadets and train them to be members of the most respected state agency in the country.
We will gain the inevitable triumph, so help us God.
That the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
I have a dream.
Class, attend!
Captain Perkins, are your TAC officers ready for training?
Sir, yes, sir.
Let it be recorded. On December the 1st, approximately 15:42 p.m., MHP Cadet Class number 64 has begun.
Class, attend!
First, what I want you all to do, I want all the eyes to look at me. I want you to relax for 1 minute, because this will be the only time you probably get to relax for the next 20-some weeks. The only person that can keep you in this school is the person who's sitting in that seat right here today. Take a look to your left. Look to your left. Now look to your right. Turn around, look behind you. Now look back at me. You all have just looked at somebody that will not finish this program. We all wish every one of you all could finish this, but that's not always the case. Right here, I've learned that this is your first day. You won't hear or remember a lot of things that I say, so I'm going to use a visual today. Right here is a piece of coal, just an ordinary piece of coal.
You ain't ready to come out here, sign it. You want to hold yourself up.
It's invaluable, but it has things that it can do that are valuable to people. This piece of coal is worthless until something miraculously happened by nature.
Throw something out!
If this piece of coal was buried thousands of feet underground and went through some pressure, a process, at the end it will become a diamond. Right now, this is you. You just a piece of coal.
Feet out the dirt. Why are your feet to fight through it?
You got to go through the process. Nothing will be given to you. It won't come easy, but you can do it.
So you don't break your leg.
If you give up because you find what you are trying to achieve is too challenging, you will just end up right back where you started.
Hey, sir. No, sir.
When you first started this process, you were desperate and excited to be where you are today. Two of the most important days in a cadet's life that they will be excited is the day you get your letter of acceptance and the day you walk across the stage. That's what you get excited about. But what you fail to realize that everything in the middle is what makes a trooper. And we call that the process. You have to embrace these challenges that lay before you to be a trooper.
You've earned the opportunity to sit in the chair that you now occupy. But now you are set upon the task of earning the opportunity to wear the uniform of a Mississippi State Trooper. I won't stand here and tell you that it's going to be easy, and I won't apologize for the training that you're about to undertake, because it's necessary. It's necessary to get men and women into the position and give them the talents and the tools that they need to survive as a trooper with the Mississippi Highway Patrol. The task that you're undertaking is a great one. The profession that you're asking to enter into is a noble one, and it is certainly a calling. You'll be challenged during the next 22 weeks, and you'll ask yourself, am I really called? And that's a question that you need to answer for yourself. You'll be challenged mentally. You'll be challenged in the classroom to learn. You'll be challenged emotionally. You'll be challenged spiritually. You'll spend many nights praying, wondering what you're doing here and how you're going to make it. But I can assure you that men and women have gone before you and have asked themselves those questions, and they have certainly made it. So it's not impossible, but it's not something that will be given to you, because what's given to you is not appreciated like what you earn. Captain Perkins and the training staff, along with the TAC officers that have been selected to instruct this class, were chosen because of the skills and the talents that they possess. They are here to help you make that transition from the man or the woman you were when you walked in that door this morning to the man or woman you want to be when you graduate, if you do, as a member of Cadet Class 64 and wear this uniform of the Mississippi Highway Patrol. It's my sincere hope, my desire that all of you would graduate, but history tells us that doesn't happen. So we'll see as we watch anxiously to see you progress, and those of you who choose to meet the standard and excel in the class and to become troopers of the Mississippi Highway Patrol. There are troops all over the state, just as Colonel Tuggle said, who want and would need help, but it's going to be good help, and it's going to be the right kind of help. And if you will go with the system, follow your instructions and the guidance of the instructors that you will have the opportunity for success. It lays before you. Your opportunity is now, and it's yours for the taking. The job that you're going to take is the very baseline of the Mississippi Highway Patrol. You were introduced to Colonel Morrison and Colonel Brown. Colonel Tuggle are all over divisions of the Department of Public Safety where opportunities exist for troopers once they become troopers and once they have served their time. Where you start is where you are right now. Every one of us, each one of us that has ever been here and has ever graduated, start in the seat that you're sitting in now.
Here at Cadet School training program, we take the training very serious. Our number one priority is survival. We have to teach these guys how to survive. It's dangerous out there. Every day they go out there, they never know what dangers they're going to face. Well, some of the things we look for in our training staff when making those selections is their mindset. We have to make sure that they're coming here for the right reasons. They have to have a passion for what they do. They have to understand that TAC is training, advising, and counseling. So you have to learn to be a mentor, advisor, counselor. Cadets deal with personal problems while they're here, in addition to the stresses of the training. So you have to know how to blend all that together. Sometimes you're hard, sometimes you have to take your foot off the gas and be soft. Sometimes cadets respond to certain methods, and then the next week they may not. So you have to change. You have to always be flexible and be willing to change, stop, think about what we're doing and results we're getting. Are we getting the desired results? And make adjustments on the fly. We try to put them under stresses here. We couldn't possibly simulate every circumstance that they'll face out there on the highways or roads, but we do try to put them under extreme stress here to see how they react and function under stress so that they don't freeze up when they're out there.
Oh, you got attitude. You got attitude.
Go! Hurry up! I don't want to stand up! That's why I sent you outside! Get back outside! Let's go! Say, sir! Say, sir! Hey, sir! Now, sir!
By putting them under extreme stress here at cadet school, it teaches them to control their emotions, think about the situation they're in, and come up with a resolution on how to de-escalate if it's turning violent. Hands-on and deadly force are last resorts. You always try to verbally get control of the situation and take control and steer it in the direction they want to go. So the reason for the extreme stress here is to teach them to do that, to control their emotions and still be able to think. And you only have milliseconds to do this sometimes.
That can hold us. Ain't no hate that can fold us. Put on the chains and we'll break them. They want a battle, we'll take them. Flow like a butterfly, sting like a bee. They can't keep us on a leash. The kings of our little towns. If there's a rebel around, you know it's gonna be one of us. We're right at home in the wild, can't help it, that's our style. Born and bred to be dangerous. We might roll on a Saturday night, get that look in our eyes, and we're striking like lightning. Some may say we're too loud, some may say we're too proud. Well, there's lambs and there's lions. Our heads are down with our eyes up, just like the sun, yeah, we'll rise up. Better think twice before you size up. Your second thought, yeah, you're wiser. The kings of our little towns. If there's a rebel around, you know it's gonna be one of us. We're right at home in the wild, can't help it, that's our style. Born and bred to be dangerous. We might roll on a Saturday night, get that look in our eyes, and we're striking like lightning. Some may say we're too loud, some may say we're too proud. Well, there's lambs and there's lions. Flow like a butterfly, sting like a bee. They can't keep us on a leash. Which one are you gonna be? The kings of our little towns. If there's a rebel around, you know it's gonna be one of us. We're right at home in the wild, can't help it, that's our style. Born and bred to be dangerous. We might roll on a Saturday
bench, waiting for the time to pass, dreaming of what happens next. I see what I wanna be, questioning my destiny.
If you come here as a cadet, just wanting to come here and kind of get through the program, it's not going to work for you. The only way you're going to make it through here is just, you know, you got to want it bad enough, because not only are you going through PT and doing PT, you're going to college level classes, you got all your critical courses, driving, firearms, accident reconstruction, all that stuff. And I mean, it's something that, you know, you got to really know in order to pass. Not only that, you still got all your PT, your corrective action, all your discipline, and your day basically goes from when you wake up at 4:30 to most of the early nights at 2200, if you're lucky to get in the bed. So I mean, it's long days and long hours. It don't stop at the end of the day. It goes on and on and on.
Even in military training, you wake up early, you're stressed out, but it's not as intense as patrol school. And guys learn that real early. We have Marine, Army, guys come from all walks of life. They come here and they do realize, they say, I've been through military training, I've been through boot camp and Marine Corps, but when they get here, the training here is just that much more stressful. On some days, we get the gym, we'll go down. I have a real good circuit workout I do with them. I have about 6 exercises, different groups. I break them up into about 6 groups and give them different exercises, and we rotate it. About 2 minutes on each station, we rotate it. Once they get back to the first station, we probably have a drink of water, we start it right back up. Not a whole lot of rest, high reps, so endurance type of exercise.
I'm fragile. I feel pain. I hurt. I open my eyes. I crave victory. I do not give up. I feel no fear. I fear no man. I create. I conquer. I hold the power.
Defensive tactics starts out, you know, from the most basic level on up into where a cadet graduates, where he or she can have those survival skills and those traits to defend herself on the road. Starts out with boxing. You know, we teach the very basics of boxing, where it's basically a fight or flight. We just want to see if that cadet will fight and not give up, and also to see how long she's willing, or he or she's willing to stay in the fight. You know, once we take the gloves off, we go right into weapon retention, as far as grappling over a weapon. And we time them on that for several minutes, and that's immediately right after boxing. It demonstrates he or she, one, is willing to fight to survive. A lot of troopers get out here and we work limited or no backup. So we want to push that particular cadet to see if they have the will to survive, to not wait on that backup and be dependent on others. And you know, that's the intentions of the part of defensive tactics. After you come off the boxing, you take the gloves off, you go into the, what you would call the deprivation of oxygen in the muscle, and also just pushing past that breaking point of your mind telling your body that you need to quit, and showing you how far the human body can go. We also go into teaching an impact weapon strike, more of a self-defense strike, whether it's non-lethal areas, lethal areas, where you can actually strike, and certify them in all those different areas.
Go ahead and take it back like a
SOG team, very interesting. It's a unique operation of the Highway Patrol. Has a unique mission, which is basically anything outside the realm of a normal trooper's daily duties. It brings us into a mobile field force. A lot of departments call it mobile field force. That is the special operations group of the Highway Patrol. What it does brings us into a regimented squad platoon type. One of the most common things that we respond to is natural or man-made disasters, tornadoes, hurricanes. That brings the mobile field force or the structured operations into it, where you can assign platoons or squads of troopers acting in those type of formations rather than an individual trooper operation. He falls under orders and the guidance of the command of that platoon. That is probably the most common. I think it's the most rewarding because you can see as these areas are devastated, they must have the security before they can start building power, water, or other things. Another thing that we usually do, any kind of civil disturbance. This is the riot team of the state of Mississippi. We are prepared for the civil disturbance. We train for riots and do everything we can to prevent the riot. We come train to the cadet class. We have basically one day to train them and familiarize them with what the Special Operations Group is. I give them an overview of what the Special Operations Group is and what it may encounter. The main thing that we have to do with them is get them introduced to the formations of our riot team and our civil disturbance operations. In the event that we do have a riot, it would require more personnel than what we have on the SOG team. It could very easily, that number could very easily require every trooper on the Highway Patrol. That's the reason that's a critical class for them to have. No way can we teach this cadet class how to respond to a riot, but we can teach them how to respond, how to fall into a formation and what it's going to look like and what it's composed of it. And what a mass arrest is, what a crowd is. One of the biggest things I want them to understand is how we use this force. At this time, it is very important for this class and each cadet to know to stand their ranks and hold the grounds and complete the mission. We make sure that every class does that. Those that cannot do it, we'll go through it again. But we will hold our line, and we'll hold our ranks, and we'll continue our mission.
Get your bearings! Get your bearings!
I don't want to hear no talking.
Get to it, Tate. Get it, Coffin.
They got out.
Way to go.
If somebody I knew or somebody, a friend of mine or whatever, walked up to me and asked me or told me they was interested in going to patrol school, what did they need to do? The first thing I would tell them was, or ask them was why they wanted to do it. Because that's the main reason. It's not just a job, it's a calling. All the troopers here could be doing something else, probably making twice what we're making. I mean, it's a calling, we enjoy it, that's what we was put on this earth to do. So I would ask them why. And if they were wanting to go for the right reasons, everybody has a different reason, but all of it's the common goal, a common goal to do good. But I would ask them why. The second thing I would tell them was, if you're not mentally and physically prepared for this school, there's no reason to even come. I know you hear that all the time, mentally and physically prepared. But the big question I was asking them is why. And if they wanted to come for the right reasons, then I would try to give them some further guidance as far as some kind of PT program or what to expect. But there's just so many requirements that go along with that. You got college hours, you got there's a laundry list of stuff that requirements to get in the highway patrol. Nowadays it's hard to not only find people that can qualify, but find good people that qualify for the right reasons. Go out there and represent the Mississippi Highway Patrol, their family, and their self. And the main thing is to take care of themselves and be safe, because if something happens to them, we drill this home to them, and I hope, and I'm sure, I know we do, to them every day. If something happens to them, or they got killed in the line of duty, it's not going to affect them, it's their family it's going to affect. So that's why it's just so important to instill the right thing and doing the right thing out here. Not only give the Mississippi Highway Patrol a black eye if they did something, it's just, if they got hurt or how it would affect the family. Because after all, when you put that uniform on, you got that patch on that says Mississippi Highway Patrol, and you go out there, you're representing the whole state. You're not representing anybody. This thing's so much bigger than one individual. When you got that patch on your shoulder, you're representing Mississippi. Not only the troopers are active, everybody that's came before you. And that's the way I like to look at it. It's just a good feeling to see somebody come in here that wants to do the right thing, and ends up, you see the end product, ends up being a good trooper. It's just a lot of satisfaction involved in it.
The hardest thing for a cadet to learn is how to shuffle steer, holding your hands at the 9 and 3 position, and not letting your hands cross over. Because what we don't realize is, prior to coming into the way we drive, is if your hands cross over, a lot of times you're overexerting the car or overcorrecting the steering on the vehicle. So as long as you're at the 9 and 3 and that wheel is steady shuffling through your hands, the car's gonna do what it's supposed to do. The whole objective of the vehicle is to go straight. So whenever you cross over or grip the steering wheel, you're stopping the vehicle from doing what it wants to do.
There's a 2-part series that we would teach them to drive to stay alive, to do maneuvers, we use the ski up hand to demonstrate such driving skills to the best of their ability, to show them how to better operate their cars, to be professional drivers, to drive around things, to master their car. There's day and night driving. We drive day and night. We drive them on and off road. We give them all the tools that they need to be able to operate their car with the best of their ability, so that because of that, you drive 85.5%, then you got a loose vehicle. And a lot of times that we put pressure on them to be able to know what it feels like for that vehicle to, for them to lose control. But at the same time, We also teach them how to recover that vehicle in such an amountable way where they would be confident, even though the vehicle will be out of control at times, but mainly to control that vehicle, even in a dying emergency, be able to control that vehicle. So we do teach that.
Main thing we try to instill in everyone is that just how to maintain the vehicle, how to keep control of the vehicle at all times. When it appears as if you're losing the vehicle or whatever, in a lot of cases you can just let the steering wheel go and the car straighten itself up. It's not to get afraid of driving the car, but to just learn how to handle the car and do it in a safe manner.
We have an inner city pursuit, which is the inner city, and then we have what you call a highway pursuit. And it is where you put a bad guy up front and put the officer behind. And we also teach that officer in every aspect not to replicate what that violator does. Even though that violator may run past a cone or he might hit a cone, but for him to be able to use his maneuverability ability of that vehicle to drive around cones, to keep that vehicle in control, keep that violator in sight, not to make the same mistake that violator. Keep a proper distance, 4 seconds behind each vehicle. But with that being said, for many years I teach 5 to 7 car length behind each vehicle, because you can't go wrong. But even in the general orders, it's about 4-second rule.
Nothing but court information.
Stop and approach, a lot of the cadets that come in here have never been prior law or anything like that, so they're not used to dealing with the public. So we try to teach them in stop and approach the safety aspect of it, which is very important on how to approach a vehicle and how to deal with different subjects or multiple subjects, whether it be at a wreck or a stranded motorist or an everyday traffic stop. You have to treat them all the same, and their number one goal is to go home at the end of their shift to their loved ones. Once they go through their training, they go through firearms before we get into a whole lot, and once we kind of work them up on stop and approach, teaching them the basics of stop and approach, and then we'll get on into other things, stop and approach, such as felony traffic stops. But we, toward the end, once they progress, we do simunition training with them. And simunition training is basically a firearm that shoots a paintball, paint tips style projectile out of it. And we go through scenarios with them, so they have to, it kind of puts them in a spot where they could possibly get tunnel vision. And we do scenarios with them where we could possibly shoot these weapons at them, or they could shoot these weapons at us. And it puts them in situations to where they've got to work through it and figure out the best solution of what to do. And this is as real life training as it gets. And here we have a state-of-the-art facility here that allows us to do that and give them this training. And we've been fortunate enough to have some of these tools that allow us to better give these cadets better training. That way they can go out there and serve the public better.
Relay 1, go ahead and draw your pistol with the finger off the trigger. Point it down range, pull back all the way on the slide, and then let it go. Not ride the slide forward. Pull it all the way back and let it go.
Well, one of the first things that we do is actually go over the classroom portion of it, which would be actually the fundamentals, the safety, muzzle discipline, that kind of thing. And then as you kind of progress, you'll go into sight alignment, proper trigger control, grip, stance, all those things. You got to put it all together in order to be proficient with the firearm. Right. So as I said before, the classroom portion, once that's over, we actually go out to the range and start doing some live fire drills, maybe 1 or 2 shots at a time, and it's actually pretty close to the target, just to try to establish the muscle memory and the fundamentals of how to make shots. From there, we will actually go into the critical courses are the courses that they have to pass in order to, as a critical course, firearms being one of them, they have to shoot a certain score in order to graduate the program. So there's what they call the state course. They'll do a night fire course, and then there's a couple others that we run. Some of them actually involve some running and shooting from a little bit further distance after the heart rate gets up.
Firearms training in any academy, especially here at patrol school, Mississippi Highway Patrol, I mean, you know, you get 2 weeks of it. You're shooting at paper targets, of course, sometimes. A lot of these cadets and a lot of these people come in here has never fired or shot a weapon, fired a gun or anything. So, I mean, you got to instill that and teach that, not only to fire it, but to fire it accurately, you know, because that's your lifeline. That weapon is your lifeline on your side. And without it, you know, you're useless, as the saying goes. Without that firearm, it's just, you know, if you can't operate and manipulate that firearm the way it should be, you're gonna have trouble. That's why a lot of times we always have, you know, 3 to 4 that doesn't make it through. We try to incorporate realistic training, force-on-force training sometimes, but you know it's hard to do, of course, with live ammunition. So pop-up targets and all that, we try to do that and try to put it on stopping approach at the end of the class.
Keep pushing up higher, higher. Keep pushing up.
What's your name? What's your name?
I spent my whole life chained to the wall.
What's your name?
Not afraid to fall. Had to cut a man down to get where I am. Someone had to tumble and someone had to stand. Don't try to fight, there's nothing you can do. I'm gonna run all over you. It's too late to try, there's nothing you can do. I'm gonna run all over you. Nothing's gonna stop me now. So many days, so many scars, but it was all of those years to make who I am. And here I stand. Don't try to fight, there's nothing you can do. I'm gonna run all over you. I hate to try, there's nothing you can do. I'm gonna run all over you. I'm looking for new blood, and nothing's gonna stop me now. Yeah, I'm looking for new blood, and nothing's gonna stop me now. Nothing's gonna stop me. Looking for new blood.
Most people allow their fear of failure to outweigh their desire to succeed. When you're willing to fail again and again and again, when you make up your mind to become unstoppable, when you make up your mind to become a no matter what person, then that will then give birth to a part of yourself that you don't know right now.
There are winners, there are losers, and there are people who have not discovered how to win. And all they need is some coaching. All they need is some help and assistance, just a little support. All they need is some insight or a different strategy, a plan of action to make some adjustments that will open up the key to a whole new future for them, that will give them access to the unlimited power that they have within themselves. That's all that they need. So what I want you to do is think about something you want for you, that's real for you, that's important for you, that will give your life some special meaning and power. And I don't even want you to say, I can do that. I don't want you to assume that. See, 5 years ago when I started out in this area, I would not have been able to make the mental leap that I would be up to where I am right now. I don't want you to begin to just psych yourself out. No. I want you to be able to say something to yourself that will enable you to maintain a level of integrity with yourself. That when you say this, even when you face tremendous setbacks, it will be a benchmark to keep you in the game, to keep you moving forward and experimenting and readjusting your strategy and your plan of action, continuously looking for ways to win.
I think we have to reflect on, who am I? Why am I here? What drives me? If I died today, what 3 words would I want said about me if I died today? You know, what is it that defines me? You know, and how do I define myself?
If you will not believe, you will not last. I can't think of anything more applicable than the Highway Patrol Academy. If you will not believe, you will not last. You're going to have a lot of meals here in this chow hall right down the hall here, and I've said this a lot of times in front of different groups here. There's a flag, I guess the flag's still there, it's got the names of 403 first responders who died on 9/11 at the Twin Towers in New York City. 343 of those were New York City fire officers. 23 were NYPD, and there were 37 Port Authority policemen. And they went up those Twin Towers that day rescuing people, doing their jobs, just like you'll be doing your job should you be fortunate enough to graduate from this program. I believe in my heart that every man and woman that died that day going up those stairs, and some of them knew, as they turned around going back for multiple times, I believe every one of them, knowing that they wouldn't come back, would still go up those stairs. Because that's what we do in this business.
It's feeling like the sun's hiding, but we're gonna keep moving, surviving. No, we won't go quiet tonight. Let's stand up and shout louder. Oh no, we won't be silent. The shadows are calling us out. We are heroes, heroes in the darkest time, when there is no light. Oh, we are heroes, heroes in the darkest times.
Repeat after me. Please raise your right hand. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Mississippi, and obey the laws thereof, that I am not disqualified from being an officer of the Mississippi Highway Safety Patrol, that I will faithfully enforce the laws of this state and discharge the duties of an officer of the Mississippi Highway Safety Patrol to the best of my ability, that I will preserve, protect, and defend the honor and traditions of the Mississippi Highway Safety Patrol, obeying all rules and regulations, and carrying out all orders which may be lawfully given me by my superior officers. So help me God. May God bless and safely keep each and all of you.
One foot in front of the other every day. May 1st, some of you will be walking across that stage and it'll be the proudest moment of your life, and you're never going to forget this. It's up to you. If you will not believe, you will not last. Good luck to you and God bless you. I'll see you soon.